In this video, I would like to talk about Investor Immigrant Visa Petition, also known as EB5. To give you a little background information on EB5 Investor Petition, it was first introduced in 1990. However, it did not experience the enormous popularity that it does today. In fact, it was not until 2014 that the number of EB5 visas issued exceeded the allotted 10,000. Now the demand for the EB5 visa is so high that countries like China, which has the most EB5 petitions filed than any other country, is now experiencing a backlog of about 10 years, which means that even if their petitions are approved, visas cannot be issued to them until a visa number becomes available. EB5 visas are continuing to gain popularity. One of the main reasons is that approval rates for all properly filed cases are exceptionally high. With such high approval rates and extremely interesting and rewarding projects currently available for investors to explore, there has never been a better time than now to apply for EB5 visa. So what is the EB5 Investor Visa and how does it work? Let's start with what is the EB5 Investor Visa. This visa allows an investor and his or her immediate family members, which includes spouses and children under the age of 21, the ability to become permanent residents of the United States by investing $1 million into the U.S. economy. This amount may be reduced to $500,000 if invested in a targeted employment area, or TEA, which refers to an area with high unemployment rate, and creating a minimum of 10 jobs. It is a direct path to obtaining permanent residence in the United States. How does it work? A potential investor needs to invest a minimum of $1 million into the U.S. economy, or $500,000 if it is being invested in an area with high unemployment rate, also known as the Targeted Employment Area, or TEA. And for each such investment, 10 full-time jobs for U.S. workers must be created. There are two different investment options: direct investment and investment through a regional center. What is direct investment? Direct investment is where the investor can choose to invest in a new enterprise or purchase an existing business. In this case, a minimum of $1 million must be invested, or $500,000 if the new or existing enterprise is in the targeted employment area. If investing money in an existing business, it must be shown that said business is troubled, and 10 additional jobs need to be created in addition to the jobs that this existing business already may have provided. With this type of direct investment, the creation of at least 10 full-time jobs rests with the investor. It is possible that more than one investor decide to create a new enterprise together, but the same requirements apply to each investor, meaning that each investor needs to invest the required minimum of $1 million, or if the business is in the targeted area, $500,000, and for each such investment, 10 full-time jobs need to be created. So if there are two investors, and assuming the project is in the targeted employment area, then each would need to invest a minimum of $500,000 and would need to create 20 full-time jobs, 10 jobs for each investor. The other option, as I mentioned, is investment through regional center. Let's first start by explaining what a regional center is. A regional center is an entity, organization, or agency that has been approved as such by USCIS. Regional Center offers hundreds of different project opportunities, which range from real estate, casinos, ski resorts, manufacturing, agriculture developments, restaurants, sports, stadiums, and many more. By investing into a regional center and financing a particular project of that regional center, a person would be eligible to apply for the EB5 visa. It is also very important to point out that by investing through a regional center, the requirement of job creation and management rests on the shoulders of the project in which the investment was made, and not on the investor, as is the case with direct investment. Also, it is important to point out that most regional centers offer projects in the targeted employment areas, meaning an investor can invest the minimum amount of $500,000. What are the risks? As with any investment, there are, of course, risks involved. However, that is why it is so important to perform due diligence on every potential investment to minimize those risks. What is the process? The process will differ initially depending on whether investment is done through a regional center or as a direct investment. But what is important for both is to show the source of funds. An investor needs to show that the funds being invested are his own funds that he actually accumulated by lawful means. After investing the required amount, whether directly in your own entity or through a regional center, Form I-526 needs to be completed. The petition, together with all supporting documents, gets filed with USCIS, and as of today, these forms take approximately 15 to 20 months to be adjudicated. Once approved, the investor who is overseas will apply for an immigrant visa abroad and will receive a 2-year conditional green card. I want to point out that if an investor is in the United States lawfully, he may adjust status to that of a permanent resident without leaving the United States. Prior to the expiration of the 2 years, the investor will then file Form I-829 to receive a permanent green card, together with evidence showing that money invested is still being used in the enterprise and that the required number of jobs were in fact created. This is of course just a brief overview of the process to get you familiar with what EB5 is all about. Application for the EB5 visa is very document specific, and it is important to have your interests represented by a competent, experienced immigration attorney. Many applications are denied for lack of sufficient supporting evidence. Choosing to obtain permanent residence in the United States through the Immigrant Investor Program, EB5, involves the investment of large sums of money, and therefore you want to make sure you have the right immigration attorney guiding you through this whole process. At Law Offices of Alice Antonovsky, we can help you throughout the entire application process. For more information, call our office to set up a consultation. We know how important and confusing this process may be, and we are here to help you every step of the way. Our office staff speaks English, Russian, and Spanish, and we will be delighted to help you.